welcome to Reader Ready, Set, Go. And right now, I'm coming to you today with another movie review. As of right now, I've been mostly doing movie reviews. However, moving forward in the future, I will start looking at things that will motivate us. So I would like to start challenging ideas and content going towards motivation to live life and live it more abundantly. Right now I do want to look at a movie called Only. I didn't see any initial marketing for this. I didn't see a single solitary commercial, which is not to say that Netflix didn't promote. It was just like I've kind of been tapped out of the matrix, so I don't know. I didn't see a commercial. And so with this particular movie, I found that it was awesome. We are definitely diving into content that's very relevant. It's amazing how this movie was made in 2019. And it is very relevant to the pandemic that we're having today in 2020. So we're met with Will and Eva. And it's awesome to see their relationship. The entire movie is set around these two characters, which is great. I love when a movie doesn't make me overanalyze characters because I have two to focus on. So I didn't have to really learn all of these different characters to understand the movie. And also I was able to do more of a character peel back on it but one thing it was spaces and gaps within the film. So then you had to rely on your own intuition of filling in the gaps of what happened. So you're met with individuals being raided by what looks like the police or the feds or something. They're being raided. And then beforehand though, Eva had went into a hiding crawl space. And so you're trying to figure out why specifically she's hiding. And they're interrogating her boyfriend in regards to, is there a woman in his particular apartment? What does this give me a feel of? It's definitely like Handmaid's Tale meets like Armageddon. Like Handmaid's Tale meets like a zombie apocalypse or something. Like it's like a mesh of movies. I've seen it in the forums as a sci-fi. I can see why it's considered a sci-fi, but ultimately it's more of an introspective character piece because there's not any monsters or any science fiction as far as aliens or anything, but we are faced with a demon that we can't see, which is the fact that all females are falling ill. You can throughout the film you'll see that there's this ash in the air. And it's falling and it's actually causing females to pass away. And so it basically leads us down a world without females. One thing I did notice with this movie is that it never ever touched on financial or economic structures. So the whole time I was wondering how her boyfriend was able to make enough money to take care of both of them. But that's neither here nor there. I would say ultimately the cinematography is very well done. Typically, for me, sci-fi movies are specifically apocalypse now movies tend to be very dark, or it's hard to see them because they're very dark. So it was not a dark film. I could see clearly. I was trying the whole time figure out what was going on. Why were the females sick? Why was Eva? I was trying to figure out, was Eva sick? But come to find out, we learned that she was able to be in hiding because the government begins to look for females that are alive, and her boyfriend helps her go into hiding, which brings in the character piece. Will is an awesome boyfriend, but there stood to be a lot to learn from the situation. And without giving the ending away, the movie wants you to imagine a world in which if all the females died, one female was still able to live, but she lived in hiding. What kind of life is this to live? Which has always been my stance point when looking at end of the world films. Would I be okay with living in a world in which either A, I'm the only one living like I Am Legend? Like, let's just say I was immune. Everybody else is getting eaten by zombies but me. Would I want to live in that world? And that's what Eva is faced with. Do I want to live in a world where I am the only female and I'm literally, it turned from her boyfriend to me, I always looked at him as caring. But then it became where he was overprotected and burdened. Like he became like a drill sergeant because he wanted to keep her safe. So I don't even think he saw his own transformation. In his wanting her to be safe, he went into a fussing mode. Like if they went anywhere, you'll see a scene where they go to the grocery store. And he's giving her this big lecture before they go in the grocery store. Like, stay close to me. Don't say nothing when we get in here. Kind of like your mom when you're little. And so she has to think about, I'm not a child. However, when she goes into the store, she immediately does something. I'm not going to say what it is. That triggers the store attendant to know that she's a female. So it was just this constant cat and mouse game. You don't know necessarily where they're going or where they're headed. but you just hope the best for them. And you also get to see how their relationship was, once they found out. Her boyfriend started figuring stuff out earlier on. He started realizing that something was up with all the females being at the emergency room, because they ended up taking a friend to the emergency room. He was like, let's go. I wouldn't even figure that out. Like if I'm going to the emergency room with a friend, I'm not necessarily going to look around and be like, it ain't nothing but women here. Because typically when I go to the doctor, it's only ever women. I rarely see a man at the doctor, just because, unless I'm in like the emergency room. I rarely see men at the doctor for preventative and care. So I wouldn't even put, and I'm not saying that it happens, I said from my experience, I rarely see men just at the hospital. So it was just a good dynamic to see. And then another thing that I noticed is that I think the director had he had all the pieces for a great film. He merged, it was a thought-provoking new set of ideas when it comes to that genre, whatever, I don't even know what you consider that genre. It's a mashup of like the end of the world meets like what's happening to civilization. However, there was some things missing from the actual thought. Like, there was a lot of things missing that could have made this a cohesive project. One being to talk more, like to let us in more to the importance of her staying hidden. They could have even took out the cat and mouse game that eventually pops up. Like there's a mouse and cat game where they're being chased. Do away with that. That could have been slashed out. They could have dive more into, okay, why, what things are being done to, that are studied. What is it like in the research lab? Does her boyfriend work for a research lab? That's why he knew what was going on. But come to find out, I ended up reading reviews, and it was because like the two planets crossed each other, and the ash that was falling on the earth was what was toxic to the women. I didn't pick that up when I initially saw the movie. I found that on further investigation. So that is that. Ultimately, it's a good movie. It's really good. There was just a couple of flaws, and I always want to make sure I'm critical before I say, go watch this movie. I would say watch it. It's not even my genre of film, and I enjoy it myself. Anywhere there's love, I'm right there. So that's what kept me in there, is the love scenes. The ending was great, and I'm trying to figure out the name of the song that played at the end. I can't find it. So if anybody can find out the song in the very last ending scene, where it goes from them to the black screen, put it in the comments below, because I'm intrigued by what song that is. Because it's awesome. It's an awesome song. I sat and cried like a baby. So it was a good movie. An hour and 37 minutes, or hour and 27. It's an hour and a half. And it was easy watch. It was good.